Now, have I had shitty relationships? Absolutely.
We said one day, not a whole lifetime of shitty.
But I gotta ask, we ask all the celebrities at Us Weekly, is there anything that pops into your guys' head about a shitty date that you've had in the past?
Well, I went on a date with this guy and he asked me out on a date. So I went on a date. You know, of course, I'm cute, look at my best. We went out to dinner. And how about he asked me to pay for the meal? Now, wait, hold on. You know what? What did I do? I paid for my portion and I got my things and I left.
Yes.
Excuse you? Don't ask nobody on a date and then ask them to pay. Now, I don't mind paying if I'm going to ask you on a date.
Right.
Hello. Where they do that at?
That's date etiquette. If you're the one asking, you should be treating, I think. Right?
I don't know who raising these people. I ain't been on a date. I ain't been on too many dates since. Because
I haven't been through this, but the one time it happened, this guy goes up in the room and I would think he sees at the very beginning of the door, there is drag everywhere. So he gets up there and he's like, do you do drag? So then you see him like walking out. I was like, no, honey, I run a drag business. There's a difference. But then I felt shit because I was like, what was I supposed to say? Oh no, my sister wears wigs so we can get to it. Like, no, that was pretty shit. But it only happened once and who cares? It wasn't meant to be. Then, I replaced that with another 5. So it's good. It's good.
Yeah.
Oh, she had a train after that date. Oh, no, ma'am.
Not any that I can think of, honestly. I don't usually, like, when I go on a date, I like to have control of the situation. So, yeah, everything's been good so far. Now, have I had shitty relationships? Absolutely.
Okay.
Oh. We said one day, not a whole lifetime of shitty.
You got to make sure the water clean this time. Don't do that.
Oh my God.
Oh, my God.
I've had numerous of very odd situations, but one that I can remember the most. I went on a date with this guy. I didn't tell him I was Trinity, but I didn't think it was important at the time. But we had been talking for a couple of weeks, and we went to the movies. And I went to go sit down, and he stayed to get the popcorn. And the guy who was serving the popcorn, I guess, was a fan, or however, I don't know how it transpired. Nonetheless, he said to him, he was like, "Oh, you with Trinity?" And he was like, "Who?" I was like, "Oh, you're with Trinity." And the boy was like, "No, I'm with Josh." He was like, "Yeah, okay, yeah, but that's Trinity." And I guess the boy was like, "He does drag." And he was not happy about that. He came into the theater, he started yelling, like we almost got into like a physical fight. Like the people up because he was so over the fact that I didn't tell him I did drag. It was just embarrassing and heartbreaking because, I mean, of course I don't feel like what I do is a bad thing, but there are people out there that they not for the shit.
That wasn't gonna be your man, no way. Is all that sound like.
Listen, I'm a firm believer when you
explore the most. Other than that incident, he was amazing. I was like, maybe not want to say anything because from what I gathered,
a real man to embrace femininity.
It would work.
Exactly. When we let the girl out, it makes us more capable men, I think, in just gay life. Like,
okay,
girl, I love flipping.
Believe it or not, I've only gone on one date in my entire life.
Was it good?
Well, we went to the movies and I fell asleep and he fell asleep. So it was a good movie.
I've been with my partner for 15 years. So it's been a while since I dated, but I had many bad dates. One, I went back to his place and he's like, "Do you mind if I smoke?" Well, that's not really the smoking I thought he said. And he lights it with like a blowtorch. And he literally said to me, he's like, "Oh, you have to use a blowtorch because the butane in the lighter is unhealthy." I'm like, that's the unhealthy part.
Is there something like recently or in the past where you think that was really shitty? Jan?
Honestly, and this isn't like, it wasn't bad, but I just felt really bad because I had a crush on somebody who ended up being my boyfriend of like 2.5 years in college. And he had a boyfriend at the time, and they broke up the night before I had a date. And he came over, and we we interacted intimately. And so I was just like, oh, okay, cool. I still feel like an asshole by not going on this date. So I went on the date with the guy, and I was just checked out. So yeah, that's me being an asshole. Horrible date story. And that's on me.
Yeah, you were someone's worst date story.
I mean, that would be anybody who went on a date with me, but I now have one from my perspective.
My worst date, I actually met this guy, and I got really dressed up because I thought we were actually going somewhere nice, and he took me to a house party. So this was our first time meeting, and it was just like, wow. So now I'm not only meeting you, but I'm meeting the crew and their crew, and so it was just like I was already out of place, so it was just kind of like, ooh. But it made it even worse that I found myself more attracted to the friend that I met at the party. That's a guy. So it was like, hey, yeah, I hope this is I'm gonna go with them. Thanks,
I love it. Well, hey, it worked out. Silver lining. Eureka, what about you?
The worst day, honestly, I don't really go on dates, weirdly. I don't know. Have I had no, I guess right. No, there was this one day I guess I had, and it was kind of weird because I was presenting as David, but like during the dinner, I was like, make sure we were ordering appetizers, and I was like, well, get an appetizer, make sure you get something. And he was like, yes, mistress. And I was just like, awkward. Just like, okay. I didn't know it was that kind of party. So it was like, I was presenting as like David, my non-binary self, but I guess he was more into like the idea of Eureka being that like dominating like female presence. And I was just like, girl, that's not the party that I came to, girl. So I'm not gonna put the wigs on for this gig.
Totally. A date you've had recently or maybe in the past that was just really
The guy asked me to go Dutch. I was like, are you kidding me?
Jiggly, I told you that wasn't a date. I was just inviting you.
No, because Eureka took me on a date.
Yeah, explain to our viewers what that means.
So basically it means like he paid for his meal and he asked me to pay for mine. I'm old school. No, you pay for my meal.
Bro,
I'm pretty.
Pandemic. Not everybody has money.
Right.
He's a doctor. He had money.
Oh, well, then maybe he just didn't like you.